everybody. Welcome to Razor Radio's special Mark Biederman birthday. That guy right there on the bottom. It's his birthday today, and the release of Blind Illusion 1979. Right there. Oh, there it is. Mark, tell us about how this came about while we're sitting here waiting for everybody.
Well, when we were just 16 years old and we were Blind Illusion for a year then.
And let's correct this. Let's correct this. You are 58 years old today. So
I'm 58 today.
No, this was 16, a long time ago, dude.
So in 1979, I was 16 years old, and we took Blind Illusion into the studio, and we recorded a whole set live in the studio of Kamikaze, Nightmare on Secret Town Road, Freedom Pass Me By, Who Am I, Death Noise, World That's an Illusion, Life Goes On, The Watcher, Death is Gray, and Rockers Unite. Now, all of those songs were recorded live in the studio, an 8-track studio.
Mm-hmm.
And they chose 4 for us to go back in and redo, and with all the overdubs and the niceties and the way they wanted to record it. I wasn't sure we were going to get anything done when I first went in there, and they tried to explain to me how to record an album, and they were trying to keep us from using our second bass drum, and they didn't want us to use a bass amp. They wanted us to go direct without the bass amp. I said, no. You know, and they wanted me to play a real clean channel guitar for the first thing, for the drummer to lay his stuff down so it didn't bleed on his. And I said, no, how can you get a Black Sabbath sounding drum track, a total rock and roll drum track, a heavy metal drum track without a heavy metal guitar in your ear playing it?
No
so
shit.
I was really not upset with it. I was very upset with it. I was upset with it. But it came down to, it never got finished because we weren't listening to them. We were telling them how the cows eat the cabbage.
Obviously, they weren't metalheads.
Not really.
Sound like jazz guys almost.
They liked rock and stuff. Well, they had recorded Creedence and stuff like that, you know. But the thing is they just weren't ready for us. And we were singing about progressive metal in the song "Rockers Unite" in 1979.
Yeah, I think we're going to play that later.
I really don't know of any other progressive metal bands at the time, really. But thing is we never finished it back then. We got all the recording done for the 4 songs, and of course we had the live recording of all the whole set as we were at 16 years old, and it was decent. But check it out. Harold O joins Blind Illusion. He takes the master tapes, has the tapes baked and cleaned and transferred to disc. And the first thing I did was mix the 4 songs.
Mm-hmm.
The Watcher, Who Am I, Kamikaze, and Death is Gray, where I played bass and Chris Olsen played guitar. So check it out. That stuff is mixed by me on Audacity. So it's not a bunch of, woo, look at all the bells and whistles now. No, this is mixed with about the technology that we had in 1979. I mixed with it in just a few years back.
Well, so I'm really confused now. So
I would be too.
Hold on a second. Let me clarify some stuff for me real quick. So you go into the studio in 79 was your ultimate goal to record an actual record, or was it just some guys just came up to you and said, hey,
no,
Jack from
Jack with 8.
Uh-huh.
He wanted us to do like all the mellow songs that we did, and we were just like, we knew that they were trying to water us down from the gate. And so when I came up with the idea to just record the whole set live, that was so at least any record company could say, hey, these guys should be on tour with Jethro Tull and Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Or so you were dreaming.
That's exactly where it's at. You wait till you hear this shit.
Oh, I've heard some of it.
Well, I'm telling you.
I haven't heard the remix.
Management back then, and instead, Augie Bloom from Round Your Records said, oh, give us 10 more songs like Who Am I, and I'll sign you to Rounder Records. And we're just like, fuck that noise. Fuck that noise.
That's fucking funny.
So what happens is I mixed it in the end in the long run, and thank God for when we did the 5-year, what it was a 3-year interview I did with Lawrence from Hadier, from Laurent Ram from Snake Pit Magazine. That guy, boy, he was.
I saw that article.
Oh, I went through some changes going through that one. I mean, I think I got clean when I was doing that interview. You know,
Kenneth Kirk says happy birthday.
Who?
Kenneth Kirk.
Oh, right on, Kenneth Kirk. Kirk Street Studios, Race with the Wizard.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
83.
Going by some of the chats that are coming in.
Kitchen, we did that. So what was I saying? I don't know.
Well, we were talking about again, like even just the start, even going into the studio and just
Okay. So here we are.
like
We're 16 years old. We're going in the studio for the first time, and the guy says to us, who was putting up the money, he says, "See, we didn't know how anything was done with it. We knew there was this thing called overdubbing. Les Paul invented it, and but we didn't have much experience with it, other than 2 different realistic tape recorders, right? So here I record my guitar on it, and then I play it, and I record with it, and go on to this one. That's all I knew about multi-tracking back then. So we get in there, and they say, you're going to be able to do this and that. We're like, okay, cool, but we still got to have the bass amp in there, because they wanted us to run it direct. And then once we ran it direct, all you could hear was clickety-click, because we play like Geezer Butler and Stanley Clark. We're doing this. And they didn't understand that. They didn't understand that. And they didn't understand that we had to have a double bass drum either. They wanted to play with a single bass. And we had to slow some of the tempos down because I'd written some crazy solos for Kamikaze. The solo was written. I just couldn't play it. So we slowed it down a little bit. It's a little sluggish. But all in all, it's a great thing to have this, because this is just a preservation of what we were at age 16. It's no proof of anything except for that, yes, we wrote those songs for real when we were kids. Kamikaze and Death Noise. Kamikaze and Death Noise are in here, but they don't have the same arrangement as they do on the Sane Asylum, because we got the record deal with the Sane Asylum without selling out. So I said to myself, a couple of these songs don't even have choruses. I'm like, that's not even a song by industry standards. Let's maybe take this into the realm of more palatable for the masses on our own. So in the last 9 months prior to recording the Sane Asylum, I added a chorus to Death Noise. Death, haka, 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 noise.
That was a weird guitar thing you do. Chicka, chicka, chicka.
Beforehand, it was just haka, 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 and haka, haka, haka. All music. But now there was a haka, haka, death, haka. So it did the repeat of that chorus a few times, and we made do with that. And then Kamikaze was divine wind, no. See, in the original recording of Kamikaze, you'll only hear the.
So I'm looking forward to hearing those 2 tracks.
One time. You'll only hear it one time.
So,
but on the Sane Asylum, you hear it 4 times, 3 times over.
Right. So
that's called a chorus.
So
thanks for the musical education.
So when you got after it gets recorded, right, and you just hang on to this for like 40 years, and then Harold O just decides to just help you out and bake it and get it all cleaned up. Is that essentially what I'm kind of hearing?
No. We held on to the tape for all those years with several houses. It went from here to there to there to there, and they're all listed on here. The Blindell Tape Preservation Society. And that was John and Love Lane Silifant and their kid Ananda, who came in later. But they were the ones who really took care of it. And then Uncle Fred was in on it. And Mike Turner was in on it from Aftermath. And my mother was in on it. And who else? Those tapes, the master tapes to Blind Illusion, one day, Mike Turner, the bass player from Aftermath, shows up at Mike McBean's house and says, "Hey, Biederman, you're going to love me." And I said, "Mike, what's up? I already love you. Well, now what?" He goes, "Well, I have your master tapes." They were found in a garbage can in a dumpster.
Wow.
I said,
rescued from
"Are you out of your fucking mind?" I'm yelling at this big old dude who's like a true berserker. He's an Viking Irish. And I said,
"Speaking of Blind Illusion, David White just says hello."
He had a stack of like 12 reel-to-reel tapes from 1979 to 1988. He even had like the Medicine Show on there. But so anyways, yeah, thank you to all of those people. Thank you to John Carr at Irrelevant Records for
Irrelevant
tapes. But yes, Harold O said, Biederman, they got these things now.
Mm.
Technology has caught up to you. They can take your tapes and transfer them to Pro Tools so you can mix them on your computer. And I said, hallelujah, let's do it. I had signed the deal with World in Sound, and they sent enough money to me for the Sane Asylum that I was able to afford that. I had Harold and Sire go do that. Hello.
And now you hold in your hand, which comes out today, Blonde Illusion 1979.
If nothing else, we've got this. Really. All the tapes have been misplaced now since. Sire's claims he gave them to Harold, claims he left them on the hill. So what? I'm not even supposed to have contact with Sire, so I shouldn't be even saying his name. But guess what? Guess what? His name isn't even Sire.
Now with this in mind, how long did this project actually take for it to the baking process until what you have holding in your hands right now?
When the baking process took place, I begged Harold, just take the tapes and go handle it. I don't want to be there to see my life's work doing whatever they're doing with it, scraping it with a hairbrush, toothbrush, toothpaste, throwing it in the oven and serving cookies with it. I don't know what they're going to do. They're baking it. I don't know. So I sent Harold alone with it, and he handled it for me.
Good man, that Harold, though.
Yeah, very good man. Just like Tom Gears, that's Doug Piercy. I thought this was Tom Gears.
Hey, Mr. Doug. Well, we can change gears. Hey, Doug.
What's going on? I don't know how, but he's on the right of me, and he's on the left there.
Yeah,
it's like some Rick and Morty shit.
It's.
Get up, Doug.
Nah, it's your show.
You're making me look like it's your.
Well, we're going to talk about Wrath of the Gods here in a second. What do you say we go to a track real quick?
Sure.
Right now, this is straight as the crowbar flies. Right now on
Razor Radio.
1, 2, 3. You guys know that this is being recorded for the radio show over the weekend. 2, 3,
Nice.
4, 5.
No.
All right, we are back. That was Promises and Kisses from Dress the Dead. That track came out yesterday. And in between there, we played Heavy as a Face from the Boneless Ones.
I love that too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, with Craig
Heavy
and
as
fucking
the face,
Chris.
bro.
Heavy as the Face.
The Boneless Ones.
Yes.
And the Dress the Dead song is amazing too.
Oh, man. Kayla can sing, can't she?
Kayla's my favorite vocalist. Yeah.
She blows me away.
Of our metal scene movement.
Yep. She blows me away. So let's talk about Wrath of the Gods. I heard we're getting close.
Huh?
I said, let's talk about Wrath of the Gods. I heard we're finally getting close to
This
maybe
is how
it being done.
I was just mixing a bunch of stuff. We made some rough mixes tonight that are actually they're pretty much in the ballpark. I mean, we have like all the special EQs and all the special plugins on a special computer that is set up for mixing only. And it's not like my main rig, which is only for recording.
Mm-hmm.
This is like specifically for mixing. I mean, I can make some badass mixes too, but they're not with the super, the killer brand new today.
Dialed in, yeah.
Fucking the
State of the art technology.
Cat's whiskers type shit. I mean, those are like expensive, and you need a brand new computer to run them, and they're expensive and a pain in the ass because for a lot of other reasons I don't want to get into. But we arranged this situation where my studio is now set up with that particular arrangement for mixing, and the engineer we're working with, Damian Rasmussen, he got it all set up. And he did the preliminary mixes on getting the drums sorted out with all the top brand new plugins that are available. And it sounded pretty outrageous. I mean, it's like incredible that you can do all that stuff. This blows my mind. I'm so used to tape still because I'm old. What do? You just got to roll the program.
I'm just jealous because I keep speaking to Harold O. Mark. He keeps teasing me about how good that it sounds already.
Yeah, well, it's like that crowbar thing, but even more so because we obviously got really a lot better at it. I mean, I built my little studio specifically for doing overdubs and production mixing and stuff like that. And it was specifically built for that. So I could, have a place to go, rather than suffer downstairs with the washing machine and my wife, her laundry nightmare and all that. And I mean, people coming in through the doors, like, this is pretty cool. It's outside and around the corner from the house. And it's kind of nice because it's relatively quiet. And you go in there and shut the door. It's pyramid shaped and it's just sick. It works great.
I imagine you guys have spent a lot of the last year in there because where else are you going to go, right?
Well, me and Mark have, right, Mark?
Well, I spend a lot of time on the couch at Doug's.
Yeah, but when you're actually,
and we do
crying.
No, you know what? I spend as little time in the womb as possible. I call the studio room the womb, and it's like
that's where things are birthed, I guess.
I really was doing. I took my turn at mixing and recording when I was working on this, and I really wished I had the time to take the actual tracks that I mixed this with and handed them over to Doug and let him and Damien mix it, because it would be stellar superstar. And we'll do that in the future, because we can do that. This is a 600 limited pressing so far, and that's all she wrote. I'm very happy with it, but this stuff of the Wrath of the Gods is just going to destroy the universe.
So how much is left to do with the Wrath of the Gods in terms of either mastering or mixing and getting the artwork, good to go for it to be released?
Well, we're in the final stages of mixing. What that means is I make mixes based upon what Damien comes up with, and I adjust some of the volumes and stuff as per what the guys in the band want to hear.
More bass.
And they won't have a certain little
more bass,
little whining area where
whining more bass.
No.
Thank Tom. Tell Tom I got the song.
More bass.
I'm Mark Biederman. I can't hear anything.
Oh, I can hear him. I can hear him, and now that's the problem. I have to be able to play. I have to be able to play him now.
Here's the other good one. Oh, somebody intentionally cut out my solo.
Yeah, no.
Wow.
I come in I come in very leading. I say, that very intro part of my solo was that rhythm piece that was my accentuation part, my embellishment. Was that cut on purpose? Or did you even know it was there? No, sometimes they don't even realize it's there. There's so much going on. It looks like it's just an extra track of something where I might have tried to do something and we didn't go with it, but it's actually to me, what it is just a little good rhythm. The way I would play the rhythm if Doug was playing my solo, the solo goes wow now, and the rhythm goes ding ding ding, like fucking.
Yeah, I mean, it's all minor bullshit. I mean,
it's so nothing. It's nothing. It doesn't even need to be there.
All the stuff is obviously there,
but that's the only thing I'm asking for now is I want to hear things like we've got Werner Herzog on there at the end of the record. Now, the Sane Asylum starts off with
Werner Herzog,
with
some German director.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hold on. The Sane Asylum starts off with some dude from the temple in the Hare Krishna temple in Berkeley who went nuts with his machine gun and shot a bunch of people. But we ran his voice backwards and forwards on the Sane Asylum. So when he says to achieve total satisfaction, you've heard that before. The blood shower right there.
Yes,
I don't know what he said. I don't know what he says because it's too quiet. So I asked Doug to make sure I can hear Herzog. I want to know what he says.
He was awesome in The Mandalorian.
Doug has got it all under wraps. I sat at home and meditated, and I said, they could be doing it this way or they could be doing it that way. It doesn't matter. One day when I'm writing the book, I will ask him, was it all at once a little this way or was it that? But all I know is he's coming to me with like half of the whole album mixed. Almost perfect, just a tiny bit this way, and then the other half is good doing it. And so it's like I don't need to know what they're doing. I come in with my freshly cooked ears. My ears are cooked every day. If I listen to music loud, they're cooked. So I'm not the guy to ask for tone.
It's getting really close. Anyhow, so like
if it's anything like Straight as the Crowbar Flies, it's gonna be fucking great.
Way better than that.
It's like. Yeah, it's very much like Crowbar.
Well, we like Crowbar. Don't we, Tanner?
The thing with Crowbar is we didn't know what our drums mix was going to sound like. It's like we discovered our drum mix kind of like the way, Genesis. Peter Gabriel is the one who discovered the drum sound for Phil Collins.
It's
really
possible
and we have this drum sound that I think is kind of revolutionary. It sounded
you got
like
a pretty good goddamn drummer, that's for sure.
Yeah,
it sounded like they plugged him into like he was an electric guitar drummer. It's like his drums were electric guitars, but they were drums. And I was like, it's almost too much, but I'm going with it. I like it. Andy likes it.
I mean, we bought a bunch of plugins and stuff for the drums and mixing board stuff, and we might mix it up a little bit with some of the drums on Crowbar and make another mix of it. But we're just not there yet. I'm too busy working on the rest of the shit.
Well, Mark.
Well, I also heard you guys. Wait, you guys shot a video too, huh?
Two of them. Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
But
how fun was that?
We're just going to unleash that shit on you. Because we went nuts on this stuff. I mean, the proto molecule is and straight as the crowbar flies. Those are the videos, right? And we're going to probably release Slow Death as a single in between. So we're going with a program. We're looking at the beautiful thing today is that bands are all together. There's been two kinds of bands this last year: those who are in the studio recording and those who aren't. So
pretty much,
studio recording, and now we have something to show for it. But that doesn't mean that we're going to throw it out at you right now when all we can see is crickets and cicadas out there because they still haven't opened up the entertainment business.
June 15th.
What?
June 15th. If everything goes according to the way it's going, everything in the state of California opens up to full capacity.
We're talking about the world
15th.
Even though,
We're more interested in the global picture because of the way that, our touring schedule and the way that all works. We'd much rather, take
to Europe.
A world situation. Mm-hmm. That's kind of where we're at with that.
You got to look at too.
And it's great. We're going to be playing shows, but a world release date kind of hinges around when we can tour worldwide. So it's really important to plan.
Makes sense. And you got to remember, everybody's going to be starting from fucking go. I mean, no one has an advantage.
And all the bands that have been working on albums now are trying to get them pressed.
Yeah.
And the presses, we got this done really quick because Monos in Greece has been working on this for 1 full year. So easily. Over a year.
Go ahead, Tanner.
So I'm kind of curious with you, Doug. Can you kind of explain the differences in chemistry because you've worked with some of the best guitar players in thrash metal for sure, with Lee Altas and now Biederman. What are the
happy birthday, Lee?
And happy birthday to both of them. But can you explain the differences in the chemistry between both of them for you?
Who? Mark?
Mark and Lee.
Yeah.
They're different. They're very different people. I mean, the whole
they're
thing.
Both pretty funny when they get drunk, though.
When I was working closely with Lee, he was still living at home and just a little kid, more or less, and coming out and learning about playing live and that kind of thing.
Wild.
I've been out of that band for a lot longer than I was,
Sure.
Jesus Christ, I don't remember when. I guess 91, I left and went to Europe finally and just left the whole program after they lost the record deal. But that's, I haven't really had much contact with them. I mean, we played one reunion show. That was kind of fun.
That wasn't the question. The question was, what's the difference in working with me or Lee? Biederman.
I mean, I don't know.
It's night and day. It's night and day.
Mark will do all the explaining. Now he's very good at talking.
No, you know what it was, man. I played bass with Lee, right? So, and I love that guy, but I was attached to Doug's hip. See, I was always looking at Doug Piercy when he was in Amble Chorus, like, man, feast your eyes on the way this guy fucking attacks his guitar. He doesn't even hardly pick it. He hits it 3 times and gets 5 times as many notes as the next guy.
Wow.
I'm struggling here with 100 notes a second, and he's hitting 12 notes with one stroke, you know? Well,
All right, real quick. Let's go into a track. Let's go into from the Blind Illusion 1979. This is World That's an Illusion right now on
Razor Radio.
Razor Radio.
1, 2, 3, 4. All right, that was speaking of Mark and Mr. Piercy. That was Opiate for the Masses from the second Heathen record that they both played on.
Yeah, that was fun.
So yeah, I played the bass on that, you know, but you can't hear it very well because they was really into Metallica.
And in between that, we heard the brand new Artillery with "In Thrash We Trust."
I'm terrible.
But you guys know the way it works. This will play all weekend long on Razor Radio with the tunes. If we play the tunes on fucking YouTube, they take away all the fucking shit.
Oh, did you say effing?
F it. I can say fuck. It's just YouTube.
You're terrible. The FCC is after me, man. Don't get all caught up in my jet stream.
Oh, we won't. Don't worry.
All right, hey, there's something I really wanted to talk to you guys about, and that's the benefit you guys are playing up in Sacramento with the Boneless Ones and Jesus Crisis for Mr. Tom Hunting.
Live Tom Hunting.
Yeah, he looks pretty good. I seen a picture of him the other day. He looks pretty healthy.
Tom's gonna come through with flying colors, Doug. Right?
I think so. I hope so.
Yeah, but meanwhile, I was just speaking in passing about I've got to do this gig for Tom Hunting, and Tina Mattis ran with it. She called me up a half hour later and says, "I hope you don't mind. I ran with your idea." Well, my idea wasn't necessarily for it to be up in Sacramento, but that was a great starting ground, you know, to test the waters, really. So what we probably are going to do is the one show up there where we're going to sell the tickets in advance. And I'm sorry, whoever doesn't get a ticket should not show up in order to keep the peace in the family. But if they do, we're going to have things out there that they can get a piece of, you know, have albums and stuff or whatnot. But we're going to have another gig local in the Bay Area here. And it's going to be a much larger thing. And it'll be a much larger bands than just us and the Boneless Ones and Jesus Crisis. We're going to have I want to have 5 or 6 bands at the Cornerstone, you know, and I want Violence, you know, I want Dress the Dead. We'll see what we can get, you know. I mean, Dress the Dead's going to be hard because Craig is in the Boneless Ones and they're kind of joined at the hip with us right now. I mean, we've been talking, I was talking about with Max.
I don't know that.
He got the Boneless Ones back together. I said, well, we have to play some shows together. And it was like, yeah, Max was totally down with that, you know. So
I still have a Violence ticket from the Metro from last year that hasn't been used. So you could use them to do that as a makeup show. I said I still have a Violence ticket from the Metro from last April.
And that's not what to do with the price of tea in China?
Well, Violence owes the Bay Area show. Why don't you hook it up?
I don't know about
what
that.
A better way for them to come back.
That ticket's going to get you even
no, I'm not talking about the ticket. I'm just saying they didn't do the show. Maybe they need to do this one.
Well, you know, that's just, you know, I'm just putting that out there. I mean, I would love to have those guys is what I'm saying. Anyways, not to get stuck on anything, but let me tell you this.
What?
What? Exactly. Who are you going to tell us?
What?
He said what? That's right. I don't know what.
Anyway, we'll see how that goes. I mean, we'd all.
Oh yeah, we're still talking about that. Go ahead.
We'd all like to have like a big show, for example, at the Metro and
something like the Alien on Command.
But nothing's solidified just yet. I mean, I expect to hear something along these lines in the next month or so. I mean, everybody else is going to jump on the idea, and we'll come up with something, and hopefully we can be involved and make it really big.
Yep,
that's not a bad idea. We'll support it. We were talking about coming up to the Sacramento show.
Discussed it when Harold O and I first discussed it. We were talking about doing 3 shows: one in Sacramento, one in the Bay Area, and one in LA.
Well, we can hook the LA one up, can't we, Tanner?
Yes, we can. And
We
we'll
just
be
got to
playing-
make sure that we've got our gas money all together, you know, and we can make our gas money off of our merchandise.
Yeah.
Put all the door and everything and
We'll
whatnot.
figure it out. We'll discuss business outside of public
Uh,
knowledge.
public radio, yeah, we could do that. But we can help hook that up, that's all we're saying.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And
Awesome.
you bet
Maybe
your
you
ass-
can throw Madrost on there.
Absolutely.
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 So, but can we? What are you doing today for your birthday? That's special. You guys all hanging
Hey, Doug,
out.
did you get him anything?
What? Give him some clothes.
This is what I'm doing for my birthday.
And a couple of
Yes.
things. And it's nice to have the gift of music.
Yes.
I
Yes.
mean, I was mixing all day, so I'm sort of happy about the fact that I can come over here with a drive. And, I didn't
Look
make that. Get that.
I
out.
want one of those, by the way.
I know, but this is what I got for my birthday, a box of 100.
Best birthday present ever. You got to admit that, though.
Hey, why don't you tell people real quick how they can get one of those from you?
I don't know.
You're not gonna do Bandcamp
They're
or
already up on the website.
Yeah, just get in touch with the website and
okay, yeah.
Blindillusion.com. Sorry.
I know you guys changed it since the last time you were on. It's just straight blindillusion.com now, right?
Yes, it says that now, and it's very straightforward. The instructions are right there. You can order that. You can order the others, the latest EP that we did, and there's all sorts of shirts and swag and crap you can get, and it's wonderful stuff. Please buy it. It'd be awesome.
Yes. www.blindillusion.com.
We've got we got refrigerator magnets and everything.
I know. Like this refrigerator magnets. That's cool.
Well, I've noticed that Doug and Mark have been doing like a bunch of like Bay Area documentaries. I know I saw the Bay Area Godfathers and whatnot.
Yes.
As soon as after the Murder in the Front Row one.
Yeah, we had just had Bob Nabandian on, and we talked about part 2 of the Metal Godfathers. That just
That's cool.
Well,
Yeah.
I haven't looked at all of part 2, but I was quite surprised. I saw part of part 2. We were in it right away with the flyer thing, and that's good enough for me. Even just seeing the name Blind Illusion in the first.
he covers a
20
lot of the Bay Area, man.
You know. So the thing is in that first one, old Ron Quintana came right out and took Blind Illusion and just put it right there at you. You know, he said he really loved Exodus and Metallica, but he liked the progressive stuff like Blind Illusion. And I was like, what?
Everybody did.
We did ask Bob Nabandian why there wasn't more Blind Illusion in the documentary. So
He just didn't know me that well.
When there's so much Davey Vane.
They didn't know me that well. I contacted Bob Nalbandian recently after all of this to say, I really love what you've done with this, with what knowledge you have of all the bands. But let me just tell you, back in 1988, when Metal Forces, it was Hard Rock, it was Kerrang. Two of those magazines said, one of them, Kerrang, said we were the godfathers of the Bay Area thrash metal scene. The other one, which I believe was Metal Forces, said we were the grandfathers of the scene. And I was just thinking how appropriate it would have been to have us a little bit more in there and to have that thing. But you see, nobody's out there blowing your horn for you. So every now and then you got to speak up for yourself. So I did, but it was a little after the fact. And, you know, the thing is it's all good. I mean, they represented us really nicely as far as I'm concerned. Just to even get a mention is great.
Yeah, you know, obviously they couldn't get everybody. There's like they'd have to have 9 hours of footage for that shit. I was just stoked that you guys were involved in that, and I do wish that Mark had more of a say in the Murder in the Front Row. I only heard him talk about his teacher for 5 seconds. So
yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, they didn't mention anything that I was involved with except for they had a flyer of Amel Chorus, which was kind of
That's good.
a million years ago kind of band. But nothing from the Heathen days. That was a kind of, you know, I mean, you got to remember they only had so much time, and they only had, you know, they were focusing on the early part of the 80s, and a lot of the bands, you know, they came out later in the later part of the 80s, some of them really felt like they should have been included. Myself as well, because we helped really stamp the name on the map, with the Heathen and the violence and Forbidden and so on. And it's all honest and correct, but they only had so much time, and they really wanted to focus on the birth of the whole thing. And
it's a good movie for what it is. I like it a lot. Matter of fact,
yeah.
I got a fucking Murder in the Furrow shirt on right now.
So
good.
but,
I have 2 books.
yeah, absolutely. And not too many people know that you yourself, Doug, has had a hand in recording a lot of these bands too.
Yeah.
So your history goes back, I would say, roughly in the early days of the whole Bay Area.
Yeah, didn't you engineer the Legacy demo, the Reign of Terror demo?
That first one, I did all that.
At Prairie Sun.
Produce it. I mean, they kind of produced themselves, but I had some ideas and they used them, and it was cool.
I don't know if you remember. Do you remember the little kids that showed up to fucking interview Zetro and the guys during that recording? That was me.
You mean at Prairie Sun?
At Prairie Sun, yeah.
No, I don't remember that.
Oh, okay. Well, what we did, we showed up, interviewed him in the little cabin up there, fucking for my fanzine, Metallic Thrash.
Well, that's cool. Good for you for always being in it.
Well, and you were there for the violence demo.
Yes,
right?
we were. Yes, we were, Mark.
Didn't you sing on that?
Yes, we sang backups.
We sang backup on the violence demo.
Really?
The first one, yeah.
Yeah,
I forgot all about it. I kept thinking that I sang on an Exodus demo that was done at Prairie Sun with Andy and some other people that were there. But the reality was, it was when Debbie had all her bands going, you never knew from which day to which band you were going to be talking to. And
Plus
on this particular day, it was Violence.
Plus, thanks to what Exodus did up there, we knew that there's a band. If you're from Sonoma County like me, if there was a good band recording at Prairie Sun, there was going to be a party up there because everybody stayed up there and they partied. Believe it or not,
Yeah.
they partied pretty hard up when they were recording at Prairie Sun. You can attest to that, right, Doug?
Yeah. I mean, that area up there, that's a pretty fun, crazy little hayride of a studio place.
Yes.
And
Mooka's cool. I like Mooka.
Yeah, Mooka was great. He was very cool and friendly. When we were mixing, he was like, yeah, we had a good time.
Yeah, there was always if you knew like there's a band up there recording that partied, there was going to be a party up there when they weren't recording. And that's why we went up and saw Violence, Mark, because we were driving around Sonoma County looking for something to do.
That's what we used to do.
Yep. Anyway, so Blind Illusion 1969. We're going to play one more track off that I have.
Wow, 1969. Wow, you guys go back that far, huh?
Oh, I was thinking of my birthday. Sorry.
79.
We're going to go ahead and play Rockers Unite right now and come back and say goodbye.
I think he's thinking of his IQ.
This is Rockers Unite right now on
Razor Radio.
Cool.
All right. Welcome back to Razor Radio. That was Lords. Oh, no, that was Death Angel with Left for Dead from their A Dream Calls for Blood album. And we'd like to send that out to Will Carroll. It's also his birthday today. So
happy birthday, Will Carroll.
All right, guys. What else you want people to know on your astute birthday here, Mr. Biederman?
Well, just keep your eye out for Wrath of the Gods.
We can't wait, man. We really can't wait.
Come out, and eventually the full-length album will be out, but we're going to coincide it with a tour, so it might not be real soon.
Okay.
The singles will be coming. I mean, we'll be able to get them really sounding the way we want them to sound, and it should be. I mean, I think it'll be worth the wait for sure. I mean, what we already have is pointing in that direction, absolutely. So,
right, and you have the 79 to kind of tide us all over until that happens.
No, that the 79 is just something that you can find.
Oh, okay.
It's not what we're pushing.
Yeah.
We're pushing Wrath of the Gods. We're pushing the Insane Asylum. We're pushing 2018. This thing here is a novelty item that is just something for us, really, But if you dig it too, right on, pass it on.
Absolutely.
Right on. Blind Illusion 1979 out today.
It's packaged really well.
And to end it here on the radio show, we're gonna not Wrath of the Gods or 1979. We're gonna go back to the Insane Asylum and a little track called "Smash." the crystal.
Absolutely. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you
again
for joining
coming on.
us real quick. This is Smash the Crystal from St. Louis right now on
Razor Radio.
See ya. Thanks for joining us, guys.